right, we're going to be continuing with circles right now. Right now in your journal, I'd like you to write the general form of the equation of a circle. All right, now that Ryan has found his 1964 dime, we can move on with the problem. Okay?
I'm gonna watch this video.
I probably will. Write this down in your journal exactly as it appears. Okay? Right now, I'm going to start with that equation. X squared plus y squared plus dx plus capital EY plus f equals 0. In order to solve this, I want you guys to plug in these blue coordinates into this equation. So you'll notice, wherever there's an x, I'm going to plug in an x. Wherever there's a y, I'm going to plug in the y coordinate. So right here, for the x value, I'm going to plug in a -3 that I'm going to square. For the y value, I'm going to plug in a -2. For the x value, a -3. For the y value, -2. So I'm plugging it in, everybody, in case you're wondering where I'm plugging it into this general formula.
Is that a 0 or
Oh, that's a 0.
Where'd the -2 go?
Would it be -2?
Why they switch around?
So we're going to evaluate everything right here from the blue coordinates. -3 squared gives us a 9. -2 squared gives us a 4. D times -3 is a -3 times D. E times -2 is a -2 times E. Plus F equals 0. So when you evaluate all of those numbers right there, that's what you're going to get. If you combine the 9 and the 4, right here, that gives you 13. I need you to understand, whatever number you get right here, you're going to move it across the equal sign. So if I take this 9 plus 4, which is a 13, and I move it over there, what's that going to become? -13, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. My first equation is -3 D minus 2E plus F equals -13. That's my first equation. So write that carefully down in your journal. Hopefully you'll remember that I got the 9 plus 4 and I moved it across to the other side. Now I'm going to build the equation again, just using the x and y coordinates that are in red. All right, so now we're going to use these coordinates. We're going to use a -2 and a -3. Wherever there's an x value or a y value, I'm putting a parentheses.
How many equations are there going to be?
There are going to be a total of 3. We'll have a blue one, a red one, and a green one. So -2, -3, -2, -3. All right, now I'm going to evaluate this one. -2 times -2 is 4. This becomes a 9. -2 times d is minus 2d minus a 3e plus an f equals 0. Once again, what do you notice about this 4 and this 9? That's going to add to a 13. But what am I going to do? I'm going to move it across, and it's going to become -13. So here's my final equation in red. Minus 2d minus 3e plus f equals -13. Make sure you have that down in your journal. Okay.
Well, I'm only on 4 plus 9.
That's fine. Just keep writing. You'll catch up. While you're writing, I'm just going to go ahead and build the final equation.
All
I'm going to go look at the coordinates that I'm going to use, Ryan. Hold on. Looking at -4 and a -3. So right here, I'm going to be using a -4 and a -3. That's my third x coordinate and my third y coordinate.
Are we gonna need to write these down on our paper for the answer?
You're doing it in your journal right now. You do not have to transfer over all the work, but there's going to be a problem for you to do it all by yourself after we get this done.
Not number 6 is.
That is.
Oh. I love it.
Glad to. Can you feel the love letters? Can you feel it? I feel it. All right. So now I'm going to take these coordinates. I'm going to go ahead and pause, let people catch up. All right. Now we're going to plug these numbers in. -4, -3, -4, -3. We're going to square this. Square this. Multiply the -4. Multiply the -3. This right here becomes a 25, but if we take this and move it over here to the other side of the equal sign, that's going to become a -25. Here is your final equation. So we have a blue, we have a red, we have a green equation. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to line all of those equations directly on top of each other. So Audrey, do you have all those written down? Okay, here we go. What's the blue equation, Audrey?
-3b
Okay.
minus 2e plus f equals -13.
Good. All right, and red equation.
-2d minus 3e plus f equals -13.
Okay. And last but not least, the fourth equation.
-4d minus 3e plus f equals -25.
All right, so right now, everybody, this right here is all three equations that you need to set up directly, all lined up over each other. So go and get those down. Now that you have these three equations, I want you to build a matrix. We're going to call this matrix right here, we're going to call this matrix A. Matrix A. We're going to write -3, -2, 1. I'm taking the coefficients in front of the letters and making a matrix out of it. All right? -3, -2, and there's one F. -2, -3, 1. -4, -3, 1. Now I've taken the numbers from the equations and I built it into a matrix known as matrix A. I want you to understand that this matrix right here, if I multiply this matrix times the answers to D, to E, and to F. If I took this matrix and multiplied it to D, E, F, this is a little review of matrices, but you haven't done it in a while. We're using something we learned last year to help us with something we need to know this year. -13, -13, -25. I'm going to call this, guys, I'm going to call this matrix X, and I'm going to call this matrix capital B. I need you to understand, matrix A times matrix X will equal matrix B. Okay? Now, if I want to know what matrix X is equal to, which will give me what? Give me the values for D, E, and F. X will, by the way, we're not allowed to divide in matrices, okay? But we are allowed to multiply both sides by inverses. So if I multiply it by the inverse of A and the inverse of A, X will equal the inverse of A times B. And once again, what does X represent? It represents the matrix known as D, E, F. It's going to give us our values for D, E, and F. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the matrix and we're going to build it. All right, now we're going to go to the calculator. We're going to go second matrix, which is right here. There's the matrix button. You're going to go over to Edit and press Enter. The first matrix you're going to build is a 3 by 3.
Wait, what?
Quick review. Remember, matrices go rows by columns. We have a 3 by 3. Liz, give me the first row.
-3, -2, and 1.
Then I think it's -2,
-3.
-3, then 1.
Yeah.
Then what's the final one?
-4, -3, 1.
-4, -3, and 1. Get this built exactly in the correct order. Exactly correctly. That's a little redundant. Okay? Make sure you build it correctly. All right, now we need to build matrix B. So hit second, x to the -1. Go to Edit, and we're going to build, not matrix A. Second matrix, Edit. We need to edit B. So go down to number 2 where it says Edit B. Press Enter. The next one, how many rows does it have? It has 3 rows and 1 column. So you need to make it a 3 by 1. And the 3 numbers that we're going to type in are -13, -13, and a -25. So now you have matrix A built and you have matrix B built. Okay?
What about matrix A?
That's what we're solving for, Ryan.
Oh.
Right here, we have matrix A. We have matrix B. Now in the calculator, we're going to put this exactly in the calculator, and that will give us D, E, N, F. All right? So here we go. Second mode gets us back to the screen. Second mode. I want you to choose. It's second matrix. I want you to choose matrix A, but we don't want just A, we want the inverse of it. So the inverse button is right here. Now that means the inverse of A times second matrix number 2B. So understand, everybody, right here, this is what you need to have in your calculator for it to work. By the way, this is equal, Ryan, this is equal to X. Press Enter. This is your D value. This is your E value. This is your value for F. All right, now that we have D, E, and F, we're going to use this general equation. We're going to say x squared plus y squared plus 6x plus 6y plus a 17 equals 0. Now you have a problem like you had on the front page when you guys were working on it. All right, problems 3 and 4 are like this. So we have x squared plus 6x. I'm going to put in an empty box right here. We're going to complete the square on this one. I'm going to put y squared plus 6y. Put another empty box right here. I'm going to set it equal. I'm going to move the 17 across to the other side of the equal sign. Make it a -17, and put a couple of open boxes right here so that when we complete the square, we have somewhere to put it. In order to complete the square, if you're trying to figure out what goes here, you take this number, you take half of it, and you square it. It's b divided by 2 squares. That's going to be a 9. Half of 6 squared over here is once again also going to be a 9. We're going to take those numbers and carefully place them here and here. All right? Now we're almost done. We have x squared plus 6x plus 9 plus y squared plus 6x plus 9 equals a 1. All of these add up to a 1. Now all we have to do is factor this and factor this and simply set it equal to a 1. How do we factor it? We're going to have an x, a y, and just know that the number that goes here all the way across is simply the b value divided by 2 every single dadgum time. What's my b value? 6. What's half of 6? 3. So I put plus 3 plus 3. So your final equation is x plus 3 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 1. What's your hk value? Here's the center of the circle. This is the radius. This is your final answer.